on the seminar the entire time, but at least in the beginning, I thought I'd say hi to you folks and start off the webinar this way with incredible technology. Here we have the webinar. We have recording. We're recording the webinar right now. So if you are unable to watch the entire thing and you want to check back in later, you can. We'll send you a link afterwards so that you can reach us later. And find the link and watch the balance of the webinar. Or if you have staff members that you want to see this, family members, anybody else, this is always going to be possible for you to look back on later. Of course, it will eventually be located at BikeShopOwner.com. And let me bring that up for a second. For those of you who are not familiar with BikeShopOwner.com, that is where all of this stuff emanates from. And we are creating a massive amount of content with methodologies for how to run your shop and using all kinds of different methods, texts and webinars and videos. Recently, we did a series of interviews with Alan Goldsmith, who was the owner of the Bikeology stores and also the Super Go retail stores, as well as Super Go online. And we did a whole series of seminars with him, or interviews with him. Those are now available at BikeShopOwner.com. And for those of you who are with us today that haven't yet signed up for BikeShopOwner.com, there's only one way you can become part of BikeShopOwner.com, and that's to buy my book. So if you haven't purchased your copy of Bicycle, oh, good. What's the name of my book, Ashley?
Principles of Bicycle Retailing.
I'm sorry?
Principles of Bicycle Retailing.
Yes, Principles. How can I forget? After 35 years of writing books called Principles of Bicycle Retailing, I must be getting old. Anyway, Principles of Bicycle Retailing for the Internet Age is available at BikeShopOwner.com. It's also now available through the NBDA, NBDA.com. You can go on there and you can get a copy of the book. Or you can also go to J&B. J&B is carrying it in inventory and, in fact, just placed their second order. So I guess a few folks have been ordering it from J&B. So those are the ways you can get the book. And once you get the book, then you can sign up for 6 months free access to the portal and all of the information and stuff that's going to be there. Anyway, I was just kind of stalling around here because while we've been stalling, 3 more people have come on board. And I figured that there will be a few latecomers. So without further ado, let's talk about blogging.
Randy.
Sorry, blogging is.
Randy.
I'm sorry, Ashley.
Are you moving your screen at all? Because it seems like it's frozen.
Like my screen, my voice, or the whole thing?
Just the screen. Like maybe click unshow your screen and show it again, and maybe that will fix it.
I'll try it. Okay, how are we looking now?
There we go. Better.
Better? Okay. All right, so why would you want to blog? I may have already made this joke in a place that you saw it, but for most folks, when you were in high school or in college, the words that you did not necessarily want to hear from your teacher was turn in a 500-word report by tomorrow or in 3 days or whatever. So there's only a small percentage of the population that loves writing. I happen to be one of those. But for the rest of the population, writing is sometimes a chore. Sometimes even those of us who are relatively good at writing, sometimes it feels like a chore because we can't come up with the thing to write about. I'm going to try to cover all those things today. So why would you want to blog? Well, blogging has been a pretty good way to get good ranking and get good visibility online for quite some time now. But as of last April, a year ago, almost now, coming up, when Google did an algorithm change. Now, they do about 500 algorithm changes a year. Each one of those affects how well different media rank online. So this particular change, though, was a major change. It got a name. It was called the Panda change. And it really affected the way that quality content ranked. So there was things called article farms. There was a lot of people out there that were creating a lot of content that wasn't that great. You may have run into some of that content. It looked like it was written by a fourth grader or somebody who just learned the language. So there was a lot of this lousy, duplicated, and sometimes poorly written content out there. A lot of it had nothing to do with really moving forward Google's goal, which is to provide tremendous relevant information online. So what they did was this Panda upgrade, and the Panda upgrade really started to affect the way that content was graded or how they ranked content based on quality. And it did dramatically affect a lot of people. In fact, it even affected JCPenney's and a couple of other major companies out there who had been kind of scammy and spammy about the way that they were generating some of their content. So once that change went into effect, we didn't notice it right away, but within a few months, we started to see that blogging, good quality blogging, was starting to really raise to the top again. We're really able to find blog postings and entire blogs that were much better ranked than they had been before the Panda change. So each time you write a blog post, you have basically created a little mini website. This doesn't happen when you add to the front page of your website. This would only happen on your website if you added another page. So if you added a page about road bikes, and it was specifically about road bikes, that would create another website, if you will. Even though it's within your website, it would create, for Google's purposes, another whole page. This is especially true if you include a follow. If you look up here, you'll see blogspot.com. Notice I'm doing a forward space, and then let's just put bike shop for fun.
Randy,
I'm not going to actually do anything with that.
Your screen is frozen again. So sorry.
My screen is frozen again.
Yeah,
this is not good.
Maybe close the photo booth now and then try and refresh
Okay,
your screen.
I'll try
then.
that. Let's close up anything I'm not using. See if that helps. And I think I had something else open here too. I think I had preview open. Anyway, is it well? Okay, so is my cursor moving now?
No, it's not. Can you do
It's stuck.
Do the thing again where you unshow your screen and then?
I'll do that. Okay.
And then we should be good, I think. There
All
you
right.
go. Now move your
See the cursor now?
Nope, it's still not moving.
Still not moving. Okay, I'm going to take this to another location to see if it might be to do with the internet. Whether I'm too far away from my, I can't imagine, but I'll just try that as another way to solve the problem. Okay. Can you see the cursor now?
It's not moving. It's just frozen.
It's just frozen. Let me turn it on and off again. I'm going to try another way. Am I showing?
No.
Is the screen showing now?
Yeah, now can you move your cursor?
I'm moving the cursor.
No, it's still not working.
No, that's not good. Are you able to see the word bike after the forward hash?
Yes.
Okay, so without being able to use the cursor, I will just point to that. If your internal pages on your website have a forward slash with a description or a keyword after the forward slash, this will allow you to count that, or Google will see that even more so as a completely different page. So what happens when you're blogging is every time you put up a new post without any real significant additional work, you actually have created another website in Google's eyes. So this particular post here on PB Bicycle Center's blog, you'll see it says, how to buy a road bike explained by experts at PB Bike Shop in Los Angeles. That post now, that entire title becomes a separate website. As you move down and you see a closer look, all new specialized tarmac SL4, PB Bicycle Center, that's a completely separate website. So each one of those has the potential to rank highly. Were you able to see the screen move that time?
No, it's not moving still.
It's still not moving at all.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I'm going to try. No, that's not going to work. So if I change anything, nothing's happening.
No. It must just be the interface is not working right now for some reason.
That's so weird. Never had that happen before, huh?
It's
trying to find. Oh, here. Are you able to? Is there a change now?
Nope. Here, let me try something. I'm gonna change presenter to me, and then I'll change it back to you.
All right.
And see if that works. Okay, now click show my screen. There you go. Now we're on.
Now or not?
Yep, we're working.
And the cursor's working?
Well, it was for a second. Are you moving it?
Let me just try something. Let me try something. Now?
There you go. Perfect.
Cursor's working now. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So let's go back here. So each one of these blog posts becomes a completely separate website in the eyes of Google. Those are the main reasons that you want to blog. Blogging will provide you with potentially high visibility online, and each time you do a post, it's one more chance to have extremely high visibility. It is also now a great way to run your social media. You can connect your blog to your other social media in such a way as that each time you create a blog posting, it will automatically create activity on your Facebook, your Twitter, your Google Plus, or your LinkedIn. So that makes your job a lot easier because one blog post now creates 5 different things going on in your social media effort. So those would be some of the reasons why you want to blog. Now, why specifically? There may be some people on today that are not bike shops, although most of you are, but we're now inviting a few other folks from other worlds on here. But if you're a bike shop, the reason that this is particularly useful is because you have a fan base. If I'm a heating and air conditioning place, I may not get a lot of people that care about my blog. Maybe I'll come on a blog once in a while to find out how to change my filter or something. But when you have a fan base, like in the bicycle industry, having a blog gives you tons of opportunities to show current events, to show lots of content, and to throw things up quickly that don't take a lot of work. Realistically, individual blog posting should take you no more than 10 to 15, 20 minutes at the most. So if you want to put up 15 blog posts a month, you could probably do that in one sitting of 2 hours. And you would have not only 15 blog posts for the entire month, you would now have 15 potentially, if you set it up right, 15 Twitter recognitions, 15 Facebook headlines, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a very quick and easy way to really provide immediate, useful content that folks will enjoy using because they're fans in our industry. So we'll talk in a few minutes about some of the things you might use to accomplish that. Okay, now let's talk about different kinds of blogging. There's basically 2 major blog types out there. One is Blogger, and the other is WordPress. That doesn't mean there aren't others. There's probably a couple dozen other people out there that create free blogging opportunities for you. But Blogger is the biggest. WordPress is the second largest. Blogger is owned by Google. Is very, very sophisticated, extremely easy to use, very great tools, amazing tools, because they've been around for a long time. WordPress, on the other hand, has really come on strong and is right up there competing with Google's Blogger at this time. The biggest difference that I've found, and I really haven't worked on WordPress in a while, is they just don't have the sophistication or the tools available that Blogger does. Having said that, the one thing we've noticed about WordPress is that there might be just a slight advantage in terms of placement. I have many blog posts that are highly, highly ranked off of Blogger, but I have noticed sometimes putting up the same post or a similar post on both, I tend to see a little higher, a little faster, a little easier ranking coming out of WordPress. So those are the two kinds. Those are the two I would recommend, is either Blogger or WordPress. The other decision you want to make is whether you want to attach this blog to your website. In this case, it would be blog.yourwebsite.com or yourwebsite.com/blog. Or it could be more sophisticated than that. You could say your website /road bike blog, for instance, or bicycle blog, or something like that, where you're going to get a keyword in there as well. Putting keywords in the content that comes after the / is outstanding. So in either the case of WordPress or in the case of Blogger, it is possible to have your blog associated directly with your website, or you can have it separate. I have no recommendation to make to you with regard to that. I see tremendous advantages to doing it both ways. From all of my clients, I shouldn't say that. For all the clients that I set up, I do them separately, not together. But many of my clients that have come to me with a blog already set up, it's been together, and it seems to work just fine. I just don't have a recommendation, but it is another choice that you will need to make when you set up. And it's also a choice you can undo. So you can go back later and undo that choice. Okay, so now we want to talk about how do you do the actual setup. So let's go over here to another screen. This is, I'm going to show you how to set up Blogger, A, for time, but also B, because the other one's probably just as easy. So you go to blogger.com. It'll take you directly to the setup. You see, you put in your email if you don't have a password yet for Google in general. If you have a Google account, you put in the Google email and the Google password that you're already using for your Google account. If you don't have a Google account yet, you should have, because you need it for Google Places and so many other things. So highly recommend you have a Google account. And if you don't, you won't be able to use Blogger. So over here it says, you want to create a blog, it's free, and you don't have an account yet, then you set up an account. If you have an account, put in your email, your password, and it will take you directly to a location which allows you to start setting up that blog. Let me go back over to this screen, and we're going to go to the dashboard. So when you're on the dashboard, it will give you the choice of creating a new blog. Let me see if I can. So right over here, whoops. In fact, Google just changed their dashboard. Right over here, you'll see it says new blog. So all you do is click new blog, and you put in a title. You put in an address. And the title is the most critical thing you will do. So when you put in the title, I'm sorry, the address rather. Well, both of them are critical. Let's talk about them one at a time. The title is the part that is going to be showing. So let's go back over here. At the top here. Okay, on his we don't have that. Let me just see if I can find a BikeShopOwner.com. So you see here that the title is Manage and Market Your Independent Bicycle Retail Store on our blog. So that's the title. Now you notice I have lots of keywords. Manage independent bicycle retail store, market independent bicycle retail store. So lots of keywords in that title. Then you'll have a description right under that. That's something you put in later. The description is important too, because that will commonly be used by Google as a description when you do the Google search. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to set, after you set up the title, which is easy to change, then you're going to set up the address. So it's going to be something.blogspot.com if you're using Blogger. Again, if you change that to being associated with your website, then the .blogspot goes away and it becomes a part of your website. So once again, here you're going to want to really be keyword rich. So for instance, you might put bike shop Indianapolis.blogspot.com. So if you're located in Indianapolis, this would be a great keyworded address or URL for your website. You could, if you want to do several blogs for your website, sometimes it's a good idea, sometimes it's not, it's more work. you might end up with road bike Indianapolis, or you might end up with mountain bike Indianapolis, or some other kind of keyword that's going to differentiate and make that that particular blog different, and therefore easier to find when Google is doing their analysis of your blog. So those are the basic steps you're going to take in order to get in. I'm going to just call this Bike Shop, and I'm going to create this blog. I can throw it away later. This blog is available, and so down here it says create the blog. And oh, I'm sorry, you have to pick one of those. Pick one of those styles. Again, you can change those styles later, but once you pick the styles, then you can go in and start setting up your page. And when you set up the page, what we're going to be looking at is you want to set it up so that you have things like the name, address, phone number, email. You're going to want maybe a Twitter feed to be going on. You're going to want a Facebook feed to be going on. You're going to want possibly some of the video series, like here he's got a fit system video series going, lines carried, other websites, so some of their other websites that they've got going, other blogs that they might have going. And on the other side, what we've done for most of our bike shops and even most of our clients is we set up and embed videos down the right-hand side. So you have all these videos that a person can go watch and see more about that particular product or about various aspects of the shop. Now, the things that are on the right and the left, if you set things up on the right and the left, those items are static unless you change them. And so these are the things that you want, you know what you want near the top of the page, you know things that you're willing to put down lower on the page, and they stay there all the time. The difference is that the stuff in the middle is always going down. Tomorrow, if there's a new post for this client, then that's going to push this post down below the fold, and the new post will be above the fold or located at the top of the page. So these are always going to be moving down. So you'll note that here's this video that we've embedded as a post, but we're also going to embed that video over here on the right-hand side where it's going to be permanently located so the person can come back and get to that video anytime without having to search through the posts to find it. So this way you're getting multiple uses out of that video or out of that content. So you're going to get the URL set up, you're going to get a title set up, you're going to get the look set up, and then this basic content at the top and on the right and the left-hand side. There are dozens and dozens of Blogger tutorials and WordPress tutorials, both on the Blogger and the WordPress sites that are created by them. And then there's even more. There's literally thousands of tutorials online with regard to the details. There's just no way we have time for the details today. But just let me tell you that setting up these little side embeds, setting up your Facebook and your Twitter feeds, all of this is extremely easy. You can do it, just with no trouble at all. So I'll just have to leave you to that. So that's what you're going to do on the right hand and the left hand side. Now you're going to want to set up, you're going to want to start posting. Okay, so we're going to go back over here to the manage and market your independent. The overview. Okay, so, and let's pull back to the pull back over here to the dashboard. And once you're on a dashboard, actually I could have done it there. Anyway, once you're on a dashboard, now if you have more than one blog, then you're going to want to decide which blog are you going to use to do this, to create a post. So you go into the dashboard, and let's say we're going to pick this particular shop, and we're going to pick. Once we pick them, then you have choices. Okay, do you want to do a new post? Do you want to see all the posts that have been done? Do you want to go to settings? You have all these different choices that you can make with regard to how you're going, what you want to do next. Now, what we want to do is we want to do a new post. So we click on new post, and when we do that, we're going to get a section for the title right up here. We're going to get a section here for the content. And then we're going to get some things to do to that post after we get done right over here. All right. So title. When you pick a title, we want it to be keyword rich. We're going to have to assume that you know what keywords are. I've mentioned a lot of them that'll be true for you. Bike shop, bicycle, bicycling, cycling are not nearly as important, by the way. Cycling is not nearly as important as bicycling. Bicycle is important. Bike shop is very important. Mountain bike, your brands, Specialized, Giant, Trek, etc. The brands are important. And of course, the most important, I will tell you right now, is 2012 brand, model, and detail at location. So that formula is going to be what you want to use a lot. Okay, you said, man, that seems awfully boring. Okay, only make it every third post, but the reality is this is the kind of keywording in your title that's going to get picked up. So you're going to, let's say we'll change that to 2012 specialized stump, jumper, stump, hello, jumper, 29er, carbon, whatever, at Joe's in Los Angeles. Okay, so see it at Joe's, or experience it at Joe's, or here's a review. No, don't put here's a review first. Put all the 2012 Specialized Stump Door 29er carbon reviewed at Joe's in Los Angeles. So put that after. Always put your most important keywords first, and then afterwards put the rest of the content. Now, the one exception to that is sometimes you can do things like secrets of, or tip one, and then immediately keywords. So you want to keep those keywords as close to the front as possible, but sometimes secrets of, or tips, or methods, or something like that, you can use that at the beginning, but make it really, really short, because the further that those keywords end up down the line, the less effect they're going to have on what you're doing. Now we go into the body of the email, and what you want to do is repeat your major keywords right away. So we reviewed the year, brand, model, detail at Joe's in Los Angeles. It doesn't have to be this exact, but this is just one way to do it. And then what you do is you scroll through that most important keyword, you bold it, and then you link it. And what do you link it to? You link it to your website, http www.joes.com. Okay, so each time you create a keyworded section, you want to scroll through it, bold it, and then link it back to the website. Now, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be the first page of your website, and it can even be linked to something within your blog. It can be linked to your Facebook. It can be linked to a lot of things. But each time you do one of those links, it's helping the thing that you're linking it to. It's also making this blog post seem more important because it has outgoing links. But it's really going to help the links that it's going to. So it's even perfectly fine to link this within this blog. So you can go http:// whatever we called it, Joe's Bike Shop in Indianapolis, whatever it was, bikeshopindianapolis.blogspot.com, and either include a specific post or not, make it for the whole blog, or make it specific to an internal post that you've already done. So then you'll go on and talk about what it is that you're talking about. If you're going to embed a video, you're going to embed a video. The embed of the video is very easy. It shows how to do it right here. It's not only perfectly fine, but a good idea to have other keywords linked. So maybe later on you're going to say mountain bike. You're going to just be talking. You'll say mountain. Let's see, 29ers. 29ers are the hot new mountain bike style, and then those would be good keywords. So once again, you scroll through it, you bold it, and you link it. Doesn't hurt to have you could have 5 links, 10 links, 20 links within that one blog posting, but just, use them where you got really great keywords and where you can link it to some other one of your properties. Now, if you are, we'll talk about it in a minute, but a lot of your content might come from a different blog somewhere. Maybe somebody else is blogging about this, or maybe it's in an article in an online magazine, or it's someplace else on the net, and you found this great article and you want to refer to it. Well, when you refer to it, always give them credit. So 20 hours in a new mountain bike style, according to, a great mountain bike mag. And so you would scroll through this one. I would not bold that one necessarily. You can or not. And then link it, but now link it to exactly where you got the article. This way that gives him cred. It helps his website, and he becomes aware of the fact. He'll know that you've actually done this. You can also do pings and pingbacks. There's other things you can do. I'm not going to get into the high grass, if you will, but if you want to, you can learn all about these other methodologies of referring back to other posts that have been generated out there. Okay, so you'll go through this. You'll continue to do the blog. A great blog is 2 paragraphs. Probably the perfect blog is 3 paragraphs, maybe 350 to 500 words. That's a perfect blog. If you do an embedded video, always put a paragraph either before or after with some of these keywords in it that are linked, because Google can't read the video. They don't know what's on the video. They don't know anything about the video. It doesn't help the post. So you always want to have some kind of introductory paragraph to go along with that YouTube video that you've embedded so that Google can read it. So Google will say, oh, I need to give this cred because here are these keyword items that are important and that I need to take into consideration. Okay, so now I have associates and friends and clients who love to write, a book for a blog post, and I say, chop it up, make it into 5 blog posts. If you want to write a blog post on how to choose a mountain bike, then, and let's say that's going to take 1,000 words, do how to choose a mountain bike part 1, how to choose a mountain bike part 2. Do something that is going to, and notice the keywords in the beginning, and then put those down as 4 separate blogs, and then use different keywording in the first sentence, or the first couple of sentences, certainly in the first paragraph, so that each one has its own unique look. You can even do that with regard to the title. You can say, how to choose a mountain bike, the frame. How to choose a mountain bike, the wheels. You see what I'm saying? So there are ways to do these longer blog posts that will break it up into smaller posts, give you more online visibility, and at the same time, make it easier on the client to read these. And ultimately, the more stuff you got going on your blog, the more people are going to read it, the more people are going to follow it, the more people are going to be impressed by what you've got. In fact, as a quick aside, for the last, almost since blogging started, there's been a recommendation that you try to blog every 3rd day. And I think that's a good idea. Every 3rd day, a 3-paragraph blog would probably take you no more than an hour a month to create. If you sat down at one time and did all of them at once, you can do that, and then you could spread them out. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So you could spread them out. To do twice as many probably will only take you 2 hours, or maybe even you could do 30 in a month in 2 hours or so. So I am finding now with my own blogs that if I'm posting every day, I'm getting dramatically more results. Huge increase in results, both in the number of people coming, the number of highly relevant people that are coming, and the number of people that are actually picking up the phone or coming into shops to make a purchase. So the new recommendation is blog daily. I know that sounds huge, but I'll show you in a second here maybe how easy it really is to do. All right, so once you've completed your blog post, let me move this go to webinar thing out of my way here. Now you want to went over here, you want to create labels. Okay, what are labels? Labels are where you show your keywords. And in this case, maybe we're going to say bike shop is our first one. Maybe bike shop. What town were we in? Oh yeah, Los Angeles. Bike shop, Los Angeles. I'm not typing very well today. And you can go on and on. Mountain bike, 2012 stump jumper 29er, specialized stump jumper, specialized mountain bike. Use all kinds of different variations. They only give you so much space, but use as much space as you can. Create lots of variations of keywords because Google will also be looking at this to determine your rankings. Okay, then when you're done with that, you click on done. Then you go to schedule. Here's what I was talking about earlier. Automatic means it's going to go up almost instantaneously. If you want to set the day and time, then you go right here and you can set it up right there. You can set up for the 25th. You can set up for the time that you want it to be up. Here we go, up here at the top. So you can set it up for 2 o'clock on the 25th, and that's when it's going to be posted. So now you can see how you can sit down one time, 1 hour, 2 hours at a time. You can create multiple posts, spread them out. Maybe you start out every 3 days, then you get it down to 2 days, and you get it down to 1 day. But whatever it is, you create as many posts as you can at one sitting. It just makes it a lot easier that way. You get into the flow, your ideas are coming, just keep it going. Okay, so when you've done that, you say done. And then you've got location. I haven't been using location yet, but there's certainly nothing wrong with doing that. You can set up the location. I think it's going to matter more and more. And so you can set up the location really quick. And then you have other options. So on the other options, maybe you don't want any comments on a particular post. Maybe you want some of these other things. These are high weeds. We're not going to go into them today, but you can certainly read about them and learn more about these other options. Okay, when you're done, you just push publish at the top. Once you've done that, you'd be able to go back later and see more about this particular post. You can delete it by clicking here and putting the trash can. You can go back and edit it by clicking here. You can also delete it by clicking here. I'm going to delete that before I forget. And all of a sudden, Bumsteads has a really weird post on their blog. Yes, I do. Okay. So this is how easy it is to do a blog post. Oh, I forgot one thing. Let's go back and open that up again. One other thing is that I want to talk about that. I mean, you can change the text style. You can change the size, bold, italic, et cetera, et cetera. You can learn all about that quite easily. You can do strike-throughs. But the other one I really want to talk about is pictures. Put an image in every single posting. Now, if you've already got an embedded video, you don't need a separate picture. You may want to. Maybe if it's a bike, you want to put a nice picture of the bike in there and then have the video showing underneath. But you may not. You could just have the embedded video because that becomes action. That becomes something that's pictorial and generates interest. But if you don't have any other kind, if you don't have a video in there, you want to throw a picture in there. So find a picture online, download. It's very simple. They take you through it. You can either use a file from your website. You can get it from this blog. You can get it from your Picasso web album. You can get it from your phone, or you can get it from a URL. I get most of my pictures from Google Images. That's a great way to go. You can get tons of images that way for free. And a lot of times it's the images that are being used by the manufacturer anyway, and so they're thrilled to have you use them. One question I commonly get is, well, what about copyright laws and things of that nature? For the most part, it's not a problem. Use your head. Whose picture is it? Is it likely that they would be upset? One that you need to be worried about is the Getty Museum. So you have to be very concerned if you see any evidence that it's the Getty Museum. They've got some lawyers out there that are just doing their best to skim money off of everybody that uses any pictures from the Getty Museum. In general, I've never had a letter. I've never had a complaint. I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm just giving you business advice from a legal perspective, or business advice from a legal perspective. Most of the time, you're going to be just fine. And certainly anything that the manufacturer has created, they're going to be thrilled to have you use their videos. They're going to be thrilled to have you use their pictures, and even their content, even the words that they're using in the website. Now, let me just talk about that for a second. Google hates duplicate content, but what they're talking about is people that go out and duplicate it 50,000 times. Well, okay, exaggeration. They duplicate it 10 times, 20 times. If you grab a paragraph out of something else, they're not going to care. If you grab 3 paragraphs, they're not even going to care. So if you want to, change it around a little bit like you did when you're writing term papers. Use a few different words, a different order of the paragraphs, a different order of the sentences, change the structure a little bit, make it your own. That's fine. And in fact, it's always a good idea to have your own voice. So if you can change it to your own voice and make it sound like it's coming from you, that's ideal. But don't worry about duplicate content for this limited purpose. So Ashley, are there any questions out there?
No questions. No
questions so far. By the way, please feel free to either raise your hand or type a question in the chat area there. And if you do that, Ashley, let me know. And we'll even stay after 2 o'clock California time to answer questions afterwards. Okay.
Wait, we have a question now.
Go ahead.
It says, what makes a blog more valuable for reposting content than social sites like Facebook and Twitter?
The thing that makes it more valuable is that, first of all, it's long form. Now, Google Plus has got some long form stuff going too. And so I can see that that's going to be maybe a potential competition to blogging in the future. But right now, Facebook is for what is immediate, very short form. Twitter is for things that are even more immediate and even more short form. Think of blogging as like magazine. It's going to last forever. Its visibility online is going to last forever. It's always going to be archived on your site. It's going to be something you're very proud of and that people will come back to and be interested in reviewing a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. Second thing is that Google is giving Google is giving higher ranking to blog posts by a lot than they are to Facebook, Twitter, and other things of that nature. So the Facebook stuff might help your website ranking. It might help some other rankings that you've got going on, but it is they are not receiving as high a ranking as blogging is in terms of search. I hope that answers your question. If not, ask me in another way. Oh, shoot. Okay. So let's talk about where you can find content. This is commonly a bugaboo for a lot of people. They're like, okay, I'm ready to blog, but I don't have any ideas. I've got writer's block. I can't think of what to do. Well, for those of you who are bike shops, I can give you one idea that will take you until next Christmas, probably, to finish doing all the potential posting. And that's the same idea I just gave you a minute ago, which is year, make, model, detail, area. So most of you are going to have probably 30, 40, 50 different versions of bikes in your shop. So that is going to be 30 possible posts. If you do videos on those same posts, that can become a second post. So you can do one post that is textual. You can do another post that is the video. So, and then the new ones will start coming out in September. May I recommend to you that you start putting up the new bikes as quickly as you have information on them. Go to the online places like Bike Radar as they do reviews and see what they're saying on the reviews. Grab that information and use it to create your own blog posts so that you can get very highly ranked early in the season. And typically those highly ranked results will still be highly ranked 6 months afterwards. It seems like Google gives preference to the oldest material. So if you're first, your stuff's typically going to stay up there, maybe for months or even years on those particular posts. Another source, so that'd be a great source of content. Just write about the bikes, review them. And if the reviews are actual something that if you've actually gone out and ridden the bike and you are actually reviewing it from your own experience, imagine how much richer that's going to appear. Sure, you can review it based on the statistics that are available to you in their catalog or just on what you know about bikes. But man, if you go out and ride it and you can make it personal, that kind of stuff sells. And that's going to get people coming back to your website, Get your employees to go out and ride the bikes and come back and write up the reviews. Even if they're not great writers, have somebody else just fix the writing. But if the personal reviews are gonna jump you up in terms of the quality and make people really want to follow you and find out what you're saying about the various bikes. We're going to run out of time here. Number 2, new product reviews other than bikes. So there's a whole nother bunch of stuff you can do. Lighting and wheel sets and new kinds of rubber, just go down the list. Rhino Dillo tire liners. I happen to be associated with that company, so if you want to do some reviews on Rhino Dillo tire liners, we might even send you a couple of pair for free if you start with that being your very first review is the Rhino Dillo tire liners. Give me a call on that one. Anyway, let's see. Local events, huge. I mean, every time you do a local event, every time there's a local event that you're just associated with, or that's happening by some other entity in your town that's related to bicycling, put it up on your blog, and then that automatically is going to be on your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, and your Google+. So, and then when you're doing events, if you're doing a seminar on Wednesday night, or you're doing a ride on Saturday morning, or you're having a sale this weekend, that always should go on your blog. That's the greatest place to put it. Get it on your blog. Remember, all the content you create on your blog also can be used elsewhere. It can be used as part of an email blast. It can be used as a press release. So there's lots of ways to use the identical content. Don't just use it once. Use it for multiple purposes. What else? You can use it for, another place you can get ideas is from Google Alerts. I'm not going to take you there right now. It's google.com/alerts. And just go in there and set up some alerts. You will now, one alert you want to put in there for sure is your bike shop name. You may also want to put in your own name. You may want to put in your primary brands of bikes that you carry. So put in Specialized, or put in Trek, or put in Giant, or put in Canada. Put in that brand. If there's a specific bike you sell a ton of, put that whole bike name in your Google alert. Put your competition's names in the alert. That way, anything that shows up on the web about your competition, you're going to know about it in 2 seconds. Oh, and by the way, the alerts, you can download them once a day, or you can look at them as they become available. So go to Google Alerts, start using Google Alerts. It will give you tons of ideas for ways to do blogs, or posts rather. And then find some other blogs that you really like. Find some other blogs. Bike Radar is a great one. Find other kinds of blogs that have content that's going to be relevant to you, and then you can sign on with them to where you get RSS feeds or other kinds of information to know what they're putting up there, or just visit them every day or every couple of days. That's going to be a resource for getting that information in. Okay, now we got analytics. So let's go back to the South Bay, California bike. Let's go to, okay, and we're going to want to go to, maybe a faster way this way. Got to close that out. Cancel that. Okay, go back to, okay, we can go here. Maybe not. Let's try it here. What we're going to do is you get analytics. Once you start doing this, I'm going to go to a non-bike shop because I don't want you to see information about my clients in terms of what's going on in their business. I'm going to take you to how to optimize. This is my blog. How to optimize your listing on Google Places. Okay, and so now you've got, this is an overview of the statistics. So 146 people have viewed one of my pages today. 219 people viewed my pages yesterday. I had 4,613 people view my pages in the last month, and 46,000 people have since I started this blog a year ago, April. It tells you which blogs are doing well. So this post got 62 page views, this one 51. It tells you where is it coming from. Well, it's coming from internally. It's coming from people that are just searching Google. The new thing that we're using, Whitespark. Now, maybe you want more detail, though. So you go into the posts, and now you find out, why was my business suspended on Google Places is my #1 best post over the last 30 days. And it goes right down and shows you how much each one is doing. You can go into traffic sources for more detail there. So you can find out what was the referring URL, what are the referring sites, what keywords are generating activity. All that's going to be there. You can go into audience. Okay, where are these people? Where in the world are they? I can go into the United States and I can see the details. Or can I in this one? There's other analytics that you can get that might show more. This one, I guess, doesn't tell me any detail under United States. You can go into layout and change your layout. You can go into template, change your template. So these are all things that you can do within Blogger in order to learn more about what's going on with your site. You can also monitor your comments from the same place. Okay. So then we talked about hooking your blog to other social media. We use something called Magic, but you have to sign up with Randy Kirk and Associates. There's my phone number. There's my email. If you're part of our group, we will help you hook up all of your social media so that you get to only do the blog post once, and then everything's taken care of. But as I mentioned before, remember that when you create this content, let's say you create a press release, remember that that press release should also become a blog post. Then you get to use it twice. Vice versa, if you create a blog, maybe that's going to also make a great press release. You might have to change it a little bit, but it might make a great press release. It'll also, with regard to your email blasts, a lot of the content you create for one will be good for others. It might also be used in more detail on your Facebook or your Twitter. So maybe you want to put more Twitter information out there about that particular blog post. Maybe let's say it's how to choose a mountain bike. Maybe you want to have an ongoing set of tweets that are referring back to that specific blog post, not just the one that was created. So maybe you want to make a whole bunch of those, tweeting back over and over again to your article about how to choose a mountain bike. And then we talked about internal linking. Okay, Leslie, we have any more questions out there?
No, we don't. No questions.
Did I call you Leslie?
Yes, you did, but it's
okay. That was very weird. Ashley. So this is the time for questions. If you've got questions, let me once again mention to the late arrivals that you can pick up a copy of my book, Principles of Bicycle Retailing for the Internet Age, at BikeShopOwner.com, and also get 6 months free in the portal. And or you can get that book. Actually, by the way, it's cheaper. I hate to tell you this because I'd rather make all the money, but it's cheaper to get the book from JMB, and it's cheaper to get the book from NBDA.com. So if you're a member of NBDA.com or you use JMB, go ahead and buy the books there. They've got them a little bit marked down from what I charge on BikeShopOwner.com. And no matter which way you buy it, you still get 6 months free access to the portal. Any questions out there? Anybody got a question?
Nope, still no questions.
No questions. I'm looking over my notes again just to see if there was anything that I left out. Ashley, anything that you can think of that you do a lot of blogging? What's anything I didn't say?
Well, one thing, I know they have their internal statistics for you to look at the analytics, but you can also set up Google Analytics for your blog. Just Google Analytics is a little bit more thorough in terms of
right. So for that, you would just go into your Google account. You would go under Analytics, and you would say that you want to hook up analytics to your website or to your blog, and it gives you HTML that needs to go into your back end of your blog. Very easy to do. They kind of walk you through it. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Well, I guess I must have sped up. I hope I didn't speak too fast trying to finish early, and now, finish on time, and it looks like I finished early. So last chance, you all, if there's any questions, now's the time to put up your hand or just type into the question section, and we will be happy to answer any last minute questions here. Dum, 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 dum. Okay.
And
your time is running out.
They can also email you after the webinar, I'm sure, right?
They absolutely can. There's my email. I answer all my emails. I pick up the phone myself personally. If you call me, 310-910-1848. And email me at randykirk77@gmail. Happy to help you any way I can. And thank you all for coming today. Please leave comments at the GoToWebinar. They'll be sending you an email, I think, asking you if you had any thoughts or ideas about the webinar. Say that you loved it or say that you hated it. I really want honesty. So tell me what you thought. And if you need to get a copy of it, Ashley will be sending out a link in a day or two that will give you the ability to come back and review everything that we talked about today. Lovely talking to you all today. See you later.